MetaX is configurable to conform to the way you want it to work. There are many different options available, so let's kind of run through those. And I'm not going to try and cover all of these. I'll just try and hit the highlights. The check all before write button allows you to not have to check all the check boxes before you do the write. Virtual memory checking I'll cover in a separate video that talks about if you want to process a large number of files at one time. Description on some video players like the Apple TV won't show if they're too long. So this option allows you to, if the short or long description is too long, to trim it to the correct size and just have the ellipsis dots at the end. If you don't want that for actors, you can do that. iTunes has some very specific ideas about how the data should be in the file for iTunes sharing, so you can click this to do that format. It appears that some of the Apple products will only display square cover art. So if you click this box and you try and select a piece of cover art that's not square, it'll warn you. If you don't want MetaX to update the timestamp on a file when it tags it, you can use this option. If you want the timestamp to be set to the creation date of the movie, you can use this. If you want to clear all the user-created genres here. In the overview video, you saw how when I opened a file, if it couldn't tell what type it was, it prompted. Well, this is an option where you can control that. If I click on movies and it doesn't know what type it is, it won't prompt, it'll automatically set it to movies. If you want to save the original of a file before you tag it, you can either put it in the recycle bin or it will create a deleted directory as a subdirectory of where the movie is located. Again, iTunes has a specific idea about where it wants director. This lets you do that. Enable network streaming is something, unless there's a particular need you know you need it for, please don't enable this. It slows down tagging dramatically. This is a very powerful set of features here. You can take the movie file after it's tagged and place it in a specific directory. It can be one directory for movie files and a different one for TV files, or they could be the same. And if you want, you can delete the originals when you're done. One of the advantages of this is it allows you to move files into the iTunes, automatically add to iTunes folder, and it will keep iTunes updated. If you want to create an NFO or a DTV file based on the information, you can do that. If you use XBMC, this can create the directory structure appropriate for that. If you want to have 2-digit season episodes, so instead of season 1, it would be season 01, you can do that. If you sometimes get incorrect title tag in the file from the way you create the file, you can ignore this. And if you use Kodi, you can embed this data in an MKV file. Tagging, again, very powerful. You can tag either the file, the title, or the episode title. And the things you can tag on are listed in the online help. You can also do string substitutions out of the file name. So if there's some string that you want to replace anytime it's found in the file name or remove, you can do that here. There are some fields you always want to be the same. So here MetaX can do things like link the short and long description. So if one of them is blank and the other one isn't, they'll both be copied over. And then you can force information from one field to the other. For example, the Apple TV wants actors to be filled out for it to display. So forcing the artist field into actors will allow that. This is a very powerful field. This is where MetaX decides how to parse information out of a file name. These are regular expressions, and it's beyond the scope of this video to describe regular expressions, but you can find that information on the web. What this regular expression says, if I see an upper or lowercase s followed by a number of digits, followed by an upper or lowercase e, followed by a number of digits, I recognize it as a TV show, and the two numbers I make, the season number and the episode number. On a movie, this says if I find a 4-digit number in parentheses, I'll parse that out as the year of the movie. If there are strings you never want to keep in the file name, you can basically remove those here. If you want, you can also strip information that's in parentheses or square brackets out from a file name. And when you create the sort fields, you can strip the leading articles. On the data fields, Movie Library is a separate program that is available for free on my website. And if you want, MetaX can keep it automatically updated. These are the different source fields that are search fields that are available. You can pick and choose which ones you want to get data from and which order they show up in the search results. If you want to save a copy of the cover art after you write the file, you can do that. If you want to filter the search on year, you can do that here. Country and language is pretty obvious. Auto tagging I'll cover in a totally different video. So this is just a quick overview of the preference items in MetaX, which allows you to configure it to work just the way you want.